The race of the week takes us to the Stephen Foster Handicap Grade 1 at Churchill Downs. This is a Grade 1 win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Of course, we started the Breeders' Cup qualifying races last weekend with the Met Mile, and the winner of that one was Honor Code, so he has qualified for the Breeders' Cup Classic. The winner of this race automatically will be able to go to Keeneland for the Breeders' Cup Classic, and all the fees will be paid for. So it's a big race. Grade 1, of course, the top of the line for thoroughbred racing in America. This is going to be 9 furlongs, a mile and an eighth, and leading the way is Commissioner. Commissioner is a consistent sort. He's got 12 lifetime races, 4 wins, comes off a nice win at Pimlico Special, but you'll notice that was a Grade 3 race. Now, the hierarchy of races goes through Grade 3, Grade 2, Grade 1, and ultimately the top horses and the biggest class level of distinction is getting those Grade 1 wins, especially for a sire. Definitely got the pedigree to go 9 furlongs by AP Indy out of Touch Gold. Good current form. The biggest question mark for him, he's never raced at Churchill, and he's going from a Grade 3 to a Grade 1, and may be going up a little bit up in class this time, facing a little bit better horses. Now, here we have the class of the race, Lea. 7 wins and 15 starts, approaching $2 million in career earnings. He's 1 for 1 at Churchill Downs, you'll notice. And he is the class of the field. He has won a Grade 1, the Grade 1 Don Handicap at Gulfstream Park in Florida. He ran second this year to Constitution, who's a Grade 1 winner, who's won a couple of Grade 1s down in Florida. Ran in the Grade 1 Dubai World Cup, running third to California Chrome and Prince Bishop. But that was over across the desert and a long trip, and acquitted himself very well. Been working solidly since that race, seems to have had enough time off, but sometimes it does take horses a full 2-3 months to kind of get acclimated back to America. He's the class. I'm not so sure he's faster than these horses. His kind of peak effort is a 105, but it definitely fits in this race, and Bill Mott has him cranked. They pretty much came back and said they were going to run in the Stephen Foster, so everything's going according to plan with Lea. Definitely a contender. Paganol, 30 to 1 on the morning line. He's basically an allowance horse. The key factor here is he does show speed in a couple of wire-to-wire victories. So if he wants to, especially coming off that 110.3 fraction and the 102 speed figure the last time, he beat some nice horses, older horses in Coastline. But those were allowance types, so he could press the pace, and he could be kind of the undoing for a couple of horses in this race and Commissioner. But ultimately, I don't think he's going to grab the prize. Noble Winner's another horse with speed. Ran against Protonico on the Kentucky Oaks undercard in the LA Sheba. That was a big improvement from a 95 to a 107. I'm not so sure he can run a 107 again. Have a feeling he kind of regresses off that effort. Showed a lot of heart that day. Outran his odds at 20 to 1. But just have a feeling he's facing better horses in here, and I think he's probably going to regress off that 107, especially because the fractions will be a little bit faster than 112.4. But the final time in that race was a nice race. Now, Hoppertunity, he's 1 for 1 at Churchill Downs. Jockey switched to Mike Smith. You'll notice Mike Smith did ride him 3 times in a row last fall. He does have a Grade 1 win at Churchill, so he fits this class level. He's also got a Grade 2 win last year in the Rebel, and then has ran a couple of Grade 3s this year. Faced Shared Belief and California Chrome, multiple Grade 1 winners in that race in February. So he's definitely a Grade 1 horse along with Lea, and definitely with the recent workouts, 58 and 1, 59 and 1, 101. Should be the second favorite behind Lea. Very capable of winning. Majestic Harbor goes back to the dirt after a 1.5-mile turf attempt. That was after a couple of wins on the dirt when he just outclassed the competition at Keeneland and Churchill. One of those races was scheduled for the turf. So at this point, he does got a Grade 1 victory back in the Gold Cup last June. That was a little bit weaker field, but it was a Grade 1 victory. He did take advantage of a fast pace, you'll notice, a 109.4 and a 135. If he somehow gets a very fast pace in this race, he could make a little bit of noise as a closer. Ultimately, he should close late and could pick up some of the pieces. He's not outclassed per se, but I think he's a little on the minor end of a Grade 1 winner. He's more of a Grade 2 horse, and current form is pretty solid if you throw out that last race. Cat Burglar lost to Commissioner last race, third off a layoff, maybe a step up in speed figure, still capable. Not sure if he can run back to those 111s that he ran last year. Ran against Revolutionary in the Pimlico Special, lost again in a Grade 3 to the Pimlico Special. So maybe a slight improvement possible. If he drips up to 6-7 to 1, maybe worth playing. 10 lifetime starts, 3 wins, 3 seconds, 3 thirds. So you definitely have to include him in your superfecta. And his running style kind of fits in this race. Overall, some of the key notes for this race: early speed, Commissioner and Noble Bird, with maybe Paganol pressing the pace if he wants to go back to that last race. Majestic Harbor back to dirt. That's where he's got his best form, and that's where he won his only Grade 1. Slight edge to Lea in this race, but Hoppertunity has a chance. I'd use him on a couple of tickets as a backup. So I'm going with Lea in this race. My second pick is Hoppertunity. I just think Lea is going to be too tough. He's been pointed for this race, has had some solid efforts this year, and does give enough speed that he can kind of sit third, fourth, and get a tracking trip. The Grade 1, Stephen Foster, this week. And again, remember to go to all your handicapping selections at derbyologist.com. Make sure to sign up to subscribe on this channel to see more Race of the Weeks as we lead into the 2015 Breeders' Cup at Keeneland Racecourse.